Hello everyone, this is TTOR. I will be hosting a live show on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to join the show, bring a working microphone and either a webcam or an avatar. The link to the room will be in the live chat of the streaming locations that the live stream will be streaming to. God bless. Hello there everyone! If you're watching this video, then you are part of the TTOR army, an army that is building itself up one subscriber at a time. As you can see from the title and topic of today's video, today we are going to, for the first time in a while, be talking about Andrew Torba, the CEO of Gab, and how he not only is censoring people on Gab by banning all Israeli IP addresses, but he's also charging people money to be able to post memes on Gab. I kid you not. But before we get into the details of that, I'd like to talk to you briefly about something important first, which is YouTube censorship. It keeps getting worse by the day, by the year. It's been going on for almost a decade at least, and it's not getting any better, it's only getting worse. And so YouTube alternatives are more important than ever, especially since we have a whole bunch of them that have emerged in the last 7 years. However, there are two YouTube alternatives in particular that if you're a fan of TTOR content, you should definitely follow me on and watch my content on. The first one, of course, is none other than Rumble, which is a YouTube alternative that is owned by Donald Trump's media company, thus making Rumble Evil Orange Man's YouTube alternative, technically speaking. Lots and lots of people use Rumble. Way more people use Rumble than any other alt tech site out there, especially Gab. I'd say the percentage of users on Rumble is like 1,000%, 1,000 times the user number on Gab. I mean, Rumble's a really happening place. And I get a lot of views relative to my channel size on my Rumble channel. I am approaching 100 subs on Rumble, which is a significant milestone. And I live stream on Rumble, the TTOR show and God TV radio podcasts every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you like my content and you especially like watching my shows when they're live, be sure to subscribe to my Rumble channel. Check out my videos on Rumble. Share my Rumble videos and my Rumble channel as far and wide as you can. And let's grow this baby together. The other YouTube alternative of mine that you should be interested in is none other than Quarter, which is my own open source alt tech alternative to YouTube that's even more free speech than Rumble is, and you have a lot of the functionality you would expect on a site like YouTube, such as HD video upload capacity, including 4K, live streaming, free restreaming, public playlists, easy to use comment moderation system, etc. But you can do so much more. You got Quarter Bucks, which you earn by getting views on your videos and you can use to promote your channel or your individual videos on the front page of the site. You have video chat rooms that you can do that are similar to the old Google Hangout rooms, and you can stream to your channel from these rooms. You can post articles on Quarter, which is a lot like the community posts on YouTube, except way more robust, and if you know how to use HTML code, you can embed virtually any video from any site in your articles. You can also do audio files here on Quarter, and you can also upload pictures, which is going to be very important considering the topic of today's video. But if you haven't already, be sure to join Quarter today, create an account. If you're a creator, post your videos to Quarter, spread the word about Quarter far and wide, and let's make it something special today. So now that you know about my Rumble and Quarter channels, let's get back to talking about Andrew Torba and how he is not only banning all Israeli IP addresses from accessing Gab, but he's also charging people money to post memes. Now, how do I know that the latter is true? Well, we have this Gab News article, which you see on screen, titled, "The Era of Free Lunch on the Internet is Over." Andrew Torba himself wrote this, and he actually put the article out yesterday. If you scroll down in the article, you come across a paragraph or two that says the following. Gab, a social media platform known for its commitment to free speech, has been at the forefront of this challenge since 2016. Gab was the first to successfully implement a subscription-based model, Gab Pro, that allowed users to enjoy an ad-free experience while supporting the platform's growth. Today, Gab is taking a radical move forward with this concept. Starting now, in order to upload media files on the platform, users will need to be a Gab Pro subscriber, donor, or verified account. This shift reflects the reality that advertising is no longer enough to subsidize the costs of operating a social media platform. We simply can't afford to host an endless stream of media files being uploaded from free users anymore, and unless we do something now, Gab Social will never have a sustainable business. Andrew Torba needs an editor. Free users will still be able to share text, links, polls, and engage in other ways, but media uploads are by far the largest expense on our infrastructure, and they will be reserved for the people who help us pay to keep that infrastructure online. So yes, you cannot upload media files on Gab anymore unless you pay Andrew Torba via Gab Pro to do so. And since Andrew Torba didn't list pictures being uploaded as something that free users can still do, this means that media files doesn't just include videos, it includes pictures as well. So unless you are willing to pay Andrew Torba money via Gab Pro, you can no longer post memes on Gab. Which means that Gab has done a total 180 of the meme culture they used to have going on like 5 to 7 years ago. If you remember back in 2017, 2018, 2019, and I guess part of 2020, Gab was known for being a place where you could find really epic memes that people were posting all the time. But now that you have to be a Gab Pro user in order to be able to upload picture files as well as videos, this means that if you're a free account on Gab and you thought you were going to have freedom of speech and the ability to share all your awesome memes on Gab, sorry, you're out of luck unless you're willing to pay Andrew Torba money to post pictures on your own account. You can't do it anymore. So according to Andrew Torba himself, you can no longer post pictures or videos on your Gab account unless you pay him money via Gab Pro. Well, what about banning Israeli IP addresses? Surely Andrew Torba's not crazy enough to do that. And if you're thinking that, then clearly you haven't been following my channel for a very long time. Andrew Torba, a couple of days ago, posted this on his Gab account. Banning Israeli IPs and changing the media policy are only the beginning. The subversive operations are coming to an end, and the rats will be smoked out from their tunnels on this platform. Mark my words. So yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Torba is banning Israeli IP addresses from accessing Gab. And why is he doing it? Well, it's because he's trying to protect the Gab community from all of these subversive rats that are on his platform. Ooh, spooky. And then, of course, Andrew Torba, just 3 hours ago at the time of this recording, doubled down on this, saying, "We're taking out the subversive trash this week, too." Now, we will read some of the comments that people left to Andrew Torba on these two posts because there's just a gold mine of contents of people just ripping on Andrew Torba for being a censorious prick. But Andrew Torba censoring Israeli IP addresses and preventing them from being able to access Gab, that doesn't surprise me. Why? because Andrew Torba has been very censorious for a number of years now, and he's censored people before. In fact, the language he uses here in this post, or in these two posts, I should say, is very telling. Back in 2021, I uploaded a video to my Joshu TV channel, and it's now backed up on my Quarter channel, titled, Andrew Torba Abandons Free Speech in the Name of Protecting the Gab Community from Harmful Disinfo. It is from the 7:11 mark of the video to, I believe, the 10:20 mark of the video, where you hear Andrew Torba say the following regarding censoring people on Gab ads. We're going to the 6:35 mark of this video, and we're going to let this play for almost 3 minutes. It's really important that you see this long clip, because what Andrew Torba reveals in this clip is actually pretty disturbing, especially when I explain to you why. But let's start watching this clip.
The other thing that I'm thinking about with ads is that, ads, Gab itself is a free speech platform, right? But Gab ads is not necessarily a free speech platform. For example, we don't want, the enemy to come in and offer to pay Gab, $50,000, $100,000 a month to pump critical race theory themed ads to our entire community, right? That's something that we don't want to happen. I don't care what amount of money they're offering us. It's not worth it to have, the enemy come in and try to subvert our community and try to indoctrinate our community with things like critical race theory themed ads, right? So, we're really thinking on what do we want the terms of service for the ads to be, because, Gab itself, you can go on Gab and say whatever you want as long as you're not making a threat, as long as you're not posting porn, you're not doxing someone, right? Our common sense rules, it's the free speech platform. But Gab ads can be more shaped to what we want the world to be, right? So we don't want the enemy to be able to, again, subvert and indoctrinate. And that is one of the main ways that they're doing this right now. You turn on the TV, you look at the advertisements, they're not selling a product or a service, they're selling an idea. They're selling anti-white, critical race theory, idea and themes, and we don't want that to happen with our ads platform. So we're thinking through what we want the terms of service for our ads platform to be. It's going to be a separate terms of service from the Gab terms of service, which of course is always going to remain the free speech terms of service. That's the same with Gab TV and all of our consumer-facing communications products. But advertisement is a different sort of beast. It's people that are paying us to get in front of our community. So we want to really think through what we want those terms of service to be. And we might just say, if you are promoting anti-white ideas, if you are promoting anti-white advertisements, if you are promoting anti-American advertisements, if you're promoting critical race theory in your ads, we reserve the right to ban your ads account and to not allow your ads to run on our platform. These are the things that we're thinking about right now, because advertisement, it's one of the biggest tools that the enemy is using right now, and the enemy wants to tempt you and tempt us with large sums of money so that they can indoctrinate and subvert our community. And that's something that we're not going to allow to happen. I don't care what amount of money it is. It's not worth it to allow the enemy in and allow the enemy to subvert and to indoctrinate our community. So
thank you, 2021 Justin, for bringing us this clip. But as you could see, Andrew Torba said back in 2021 in regards to Gab ads, in 2 different occasions in the clip, he made it clear that he wasn't going to allow woke lefties who promote critical race theory, for example, to have accounts on Gab ads and use Gab ads to advertise what they want, because he's trying to protect the Gab community from their subversive lies. Doesn't that sound familiar? Back in 2021, Andrew Torba said he was going to censor leftists who tried to use Gab ads to promote their garbage, because he was going to protect the Gab community from their subversive lies. And same thing you got going on today. Why is Andrew Torba banning Israeli IP addresses from being able to access his website? Because he's trying to protect the Gab community from their subversive operations. Now, when you hear Andrew Torba say that he does things like ban leftists from using Gab ads and banning Israeli IP addresses from accessing Gab, and his justification for doing so is that he's trying to protect the Gab community from subversive lies, doesn't that sound familiar? It should, because big tech uses the exact same argument to justify censoring Christians, conservatives, and Trump supporters off their platform. How many times, if you've been paying attention on the internet over the years, have you heard YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. censor someone and they claim, well, we're trying to protect our community from the harmful disinformation being put out by the people we're censoring, and so that's why we censored them? Well, Andrew Torba is using the same logic. He's just worded it differently. Instead of saying he's protecting the Gab community from harmful misinformation, he's saying that he's protecting the Gab community from subversive lies. There is no difference, practically speaking, between subversive lies and harmful disinformation. So Andrew Torba's logic for banning Israeli IP addresses from accessing Gab is literally the exact same argument that big tech uses to justify censoring all of us off of their websites. And by us, I mean Christians, conservatives, Trump supporters, and dissidents in general. But that's not all, ladies and germs, because not that long after his little video about Gab ads, Andrew Torba and his crew, for a short period of time, were banning links to the satire site Real Raw News from being shared on their site. Which is odd because Andrew Torba and his crew are the first to complain about big tech censoring satire sites, and yet they did the same thing for a short period of time to Real Raw News. What's funny, though, is that within an hour or two after I shared this video on my Gab account, the ban on Real Raw News links was lifted, and you were able to share links on Gab again that are from that site. Now, to be fair, Real Raw News is not that good of a satire site, and I'm not a big fan of their work, especially since they make it hard to find out if they're a satire site or not, unless you know where to look. But the fact of the matter is, they do have a disclaimer on their website that identifies them as a satire site, and so there should be no reason why links to their site are banned from being shared on Gab. None at all. And then, of course, a couple of years ago, Andrew Torba took a lot of heat for misusing fan donations that were given to him and giving them to Nick Fuentes and Nick Fuentes' America First organization instead of investing the money into Gab as a platform. And one of those people who criticized Torba for doing that was Joe Pritch. And so how did Andrew Torba and Gab respond to Joe Pritch criticizing Andrew Torba's misuse of fan donations? They censored him. They shadow banned him. They removed followers from following his account on Gab. They removed his subscribers on Gab TV at the time that Gab TV was existing and was a thing. I mean, they censored this guy as hard as YouTube and Facebook and Twitter were censoring people back in the late 2010s, early 2020s, and yet, for some reason, not too many people talked about this. But as you can see, Andrew Torba is no stranger to censoring people who criticize him. So for him to come out recently and ban Israeli IP addresses from accessing Gab Social, well, that's just par for the course for someone like Andrew Torba. I'm also not surprised by the fact that Andrew Torba chose to ban Israeli IP addresses in particular from accessing Gab. It's not like he just targeted like ADL IP addresses or something. No, he targeted all IP addresses that come out of the nation of Israel. This doesn't surprise me because Andrew Torba at this point is a well-documented bigot against Jews. He's an anti-Semite in that sense of the word. As a matter of fact, one of the most recent videos regarding his bigotry that I did is called Andrew Torba Promotes Replacement Theology After Denying That He Teaches It. So Andrew Torba not only is a bigot against Jews, he literally promotes and teaches replacement theology, which, if you're a Bible-believing Christian, you know that replacement theology is rank heresy and has no biblical basis at all. And yet Andrew Torba is part of that heretical movement. Also, Andrew Torba wrote a book a couple years ago called Christian Nationalism, And it is in this book where we learn that Andrew Torba worships a false god and preaches a false gospel, which according to the Apostle Paul means that Andrew Torba is under God's curse. So at this point in time, not only do we know that Andrew Torba is a crazy wingnut heretic and a cult of personality leader, but he's also a censorious loser who is literally a Mark Zuckerberg wannabe. He's just as censorious. He uses the same logic to justify his censorship that big tech does. The difference is he doesn't have nearly as many people using his website as use the big tech sites, so therefore his censorship doesn't have too much of an impact on the grand scale. So now let's go through some of the comments that people left under Andrew Torba's 2 posts that you saw earlier in the video. Confession in Bio says, Andrew Torba trying to paint everyone you're screwing over as a submissive Jew, eh? Great plan. Apex Boomer says Gab ends on March 1st. Norm Data says, you have no idea what you've done to your core users, do you? You will find out soon enough when they're gone. Fairly Honest Frank said, who did this guy just become? WTF? Bohica said, you're going off the deep end, Andrew, or you've gone full deep state. I'm guessing both. We were refugees from Twitter when we came here to support you. We will find a new home again. Grandpa Munster said to Andrew Torba, how does it feel to witness the fall of a platform God inspired you to build in his name, to greed? V. Rilbert said in response to Torba, censoring people during an election year looks really suspicious, Torba. Voting is retarded, yes, but the timing is really fishy, Torba. DigiArts Gab Freeloader said in a meme, bye, Gab. Jay Fox said below to Andrew Torba, except that feds and rats will pay because they have taxpayer dollars to do so, unlike true dissidents. John Andrew McDonald said, Andrew Torba, that is great news, but please don't throw too large a net. You don't want to punish the innocent. God Save the Republic 2022 said in response, we had the privilege of marking your words yesterday. It seems IMO, you created Gab AI off the back of Gab Social, and now Social is suffering. So you need to make up the difference. Reoccurring income is always nice, but getting there doesn't mean you have to turn people off in the process. Your communication style needs some work. As a small business owner, you want to draw people in, not drive them away. We should all be in this together, not divided, and you're the captain of the ship. Beatnik said in response, let's see what's left of Gab in a month. When things were as they have been so far, it was easy to overlook the glitches and clunky operation of Gab. Free speech was worth that, but if people are paying for Gab, then it has to be as smooth and seamless as any other pay site, and Gab has never ran right for me in the 3 years I've been posting here. Lots of groups will flounder and end. There were much better solutions, but that isn't and never will be my call to make. The Daily Tea Party said in response, Torba can smell the AI money. He is now empowered enough to tell the peasants who make him rich to F off. Stage 2, the threats begin. Stage 3, the Great Purge. Stage 4, back to farming and raising a Christian family line, the rest of Gab. Moral of the story, it was great while it lasted. Thank you, Torba. Norm Data also said, OMG, did we hit a nerve here? Because that's some high horse you're riding on over there. This is just a virtual website, a fantasy world creation, where mostly average people post silly memes, videos, jokes, news, and commentary to escape from reality for a while and laugh at life. And with a comment like that, the base user rats will scurry for sure. Thanks a bunch. When you go to his other post, where Torba said that he was going to be taking out the subversive trash this week too, Wokely Carmichael said, whatever, retard, there's nothing revolutionary for charging people to do what every other social site online allows for free. And that is absolutely true. Because I run a video sharing site called Quarter where you can also post pictures as well as videos. And let me tell you, pictures are teeny tiny little files in terms of their size. They don't eat up space at all. And if you're compressing your video files, even HD videos that are done in like 720p and 1080p, those don't get too big either as long as they're under 20 minutes in length. So this idea that, pictures and videos on Gab are eating up all of their storage and costing them the most expense, I don't quite buy that. Either Andrew Torba is an idiot who's overpaying for his storage, or he's lying to y'all. Albanian Crusader said, "You could have been honest from the beginning what this was about. This is almost like an admission that you were lying about the storage getting full. These posts are starting to sound increasingly childish and unhinged." The Daily Tea Party said, "Wow, imagine running a business and insulting the people who made it possible. Please go talk to a priest, your wife, go have a drink with a friend. You are not taking this well or taking responsibility for the reaction you have caused. Rule 1 of business, provide value to your clients. Rule 2, show appreciation and respect for them. Rule 3, never put yourself in a situation that might end the business. You are breaking each of those rules to the detriment of all the years of effort you and your clients have put into Gab." The Daily Tea Party then said, "What a tantrum fest. Andrew, you really must think that you are coming onto AI money to throw your life project away like this. All any of us have is the support of those around us in times of need. All you needed to do was to humbly tell the clients who you host that the operation needed help to survive. Those people would have bent over backwards for you if you had asked in truth and with humility. Instead, you took a quick decision, dumped on your people, and then insulted them for acting surprised and giving you feedback. I really do hope that you are able to take a couple of days off and reflect, pray, look into the eyes of those you love, and examine what the purpose of your life is. Please pray to be as humble as possible for strength and ask God to show you the way. Be well, be blessed, enjoy the people who love you and admire you. God bless you for all your efforts." Declan said in response to Torba, "Apparently, I'm subversive trash now. Meh, so be it." Sons of God said, "I was under the impression that Gab banned all Israeli IPs already." And that's something that's very interesting, because apparently the Israeli IP addresses weren't just banned a couple of days ago. They were apparently banned a couple of weeks ago. And apparently this was supposed to put an end to all the subversion on Gab, and yet here we are a couple weeks later, and Andrew Torba is still complaining about subversive operations on Gab and how he's going to smoke out all those subversive rats and get rid of them. Well, folks, at this point, I'm pretty much done with Gab at this point. There was a time where Gab was an up-and-coming social media site that at least pretended to champion freedom of speech. And it used to be 5 years ago, 6 years ago, Gab used to be a legitimately fun place to be where you could have access to all kinds of information, see all kinds of awesome memes, and you could generally learn a lot about what's going on in the world through Gab. But now, over time, all the people that made Gab awesome back in the day are gone because Andrew Torba turned into a crazy heretic wingnut, a cult of personality leader, and a censorious authoritarian who complains every time people expose him for his bad actions as the CEO of a social media site that has millions of registered users. So, if me criticizing Andrew Torba qualifies as being a subversive rat, well then, I dare Andrew Torba to censor me from Gab. Show the world who you really are, and just ban me from Gab. Just get it over with. I'm tired of being on this website and seeing you do what you do, lying to people on a consistent basis about how you're the only free speech guy on the internet, and yet you ban whole countries' people from accessing your website. You charge people money just to post pictures on their own Gab accounts, and you've censored other people in the past who have been critical of you. You've censored links to satire sites, which is something you've literally condemned big tech for doing, like the two-faced hypocrite that you are. I'm just really tired of Andrew Torba and who he is, so if he wants to do me a solid, he should just ban me from Gab right now, because I'm going to continue to be part of the group of people that criticize him when he does stupid stuff like this, when he does authoritarian stuff like this.